Hi, in this video we're going to demonstrate the standing barbell curl. Right, getting straight in, how to pick up the weight. With a straight back, as straight as possible, we bend over, grab the weight, keep that there, there you go. There you go. So what we've got here is shoulders back, head forward, neck back, no rest point there, immediately carries on. Do not rest, and up, and up, and at the top he stops over here. No chucking. 1, and up, 2, and up, 3. That's good. Okay, let's look at the analytical parts of the training, as that's the purpose of this video, is to analyze. Now, what is this gap between the feet here? It must be the same gap that is the shoulder width. We'll see the front view shortly, but just to talk about the posture, this is shoulder width. Next thing is, can you see that Michael's knees are slightly bent? Not a lot, just slightly. And what it does is it provides like a shock absorber. And the reason is there are spinal discs here, and what happens is when you move the weight up and down, it does cause a lot of pressure on your spine because your body wants to go down. As this weight goes up, it causes quite a lot of pressure here. So what the knees do is it provides your lower back with a little bit of cushioning. So that's the reason for the slightly bent knee. So I don't recommend standing completely straight, recommend a slightly bent knee, but that doesn't mean that one doesn't stand up straight. You can see that if you're looking at this diagram, you can see that Michael is standing completely vertical, and we will have a look at this now. On the next slide, you can see that I've even put a spirit level at the back here, just highlighting how one should actually be in the vertically straight. And if it doesn't come naturally to you, stand by a wall and put your shoulders against the wall and your butt, your glutes against the wall, and therefore use the wall as a reference point. You'll start to become accustomed to a straight upright position, but still look at the knees, and that's providing future non-damaged back, let's put it like that. So you will never get an injury here by using this option and what I'm going to tell you further. Right, so now we're going to just have a look at one other thing. Look at Michael's neck. Can you see that the head is almost pulled back, neck straight, facing forward? And the point of that is that this line, if you had to draw a line here, you would actually see it's going, okay, remember the spirit level is on his spine, so it looks like the shoulders are sticking out, and I'm going to get to that point now about shoulders sticking out. So what we got here is, imagine an imaginary line that was actually measured, and that means neck or back of head, spine, glutes, all in 90 degrees. So that is a perpendicular position. Okay, now I just want to just highlight one other thing, and that is, let's just get the color here. Shoulders are back. Can you see that in this diagram? We can see that Michael's shoulders are actually pulled back. It means he's actually bent his, let's say, protruded his chest out and actually squeezed his shoulders back. And the reason for that is it actually isolates the muscle better. And you'll see when we do I'm sure you've actually seen the motion. When your shoulders are locked back, it stops you from rocking. It stops you from rocking your arm. It stops you from moving here, your traps. So it doesn't bring your traps into the exercise. It just focuses on the bicep. All right. Now, this is the starting point of the exercise. What I would like to highlight is many guys in the gym stand with their arms in the vertical position, and I think that is actually wrong. And the reason is if you look at a swing, say you've got a swing, let's choose a better color. Will you agree that moving a weight from there to there does not require the same force as moving a weight from, say, there to there? You see, because gravity is pulling down all the time, vertically down, the amount of force needed to get this swing or pendulum started is a bit less there than it is there, moving from there to there. And that brings me to the point of completely stimulating this muscle for the whole time of the training. That means from the start to all the way to the top. And when I say top, it ends there, because from there to there is again the same argument that I'm creating here, is moving the swing or a pendulum from there to there does not require a lot of force, and you'll actually find the muscle starts to relax. So this part over here is actually beginning to relax, and this part from here to here is also a bit of a relaxing time. So in order to maximize the effort, all you need to do is keep your arm at a 5-degree angle and don't let it go further than this point here. Another reason why we don't want it to go further than this point here is it actually hits your knee or your quadricep, your thigh, and what happens is it actually increases the need to rock. And the point is we don't want to rock. So when this weight hits your knee, it's actually allowing the muscle to relax. So the correct way to do this would be, this is the starting position, a slight gap here. You can see the elbow is almost tucked in under the lat. So you'll see guys in the gym, or if you're training at home, but if you see guys in the gym, they stand like this, and they're actually, this whole section here is actually wasted, because in order for the weight to fall down, they start leaning forward, and that's a mistake. So you should actually be totally vertical, and then moving the weight up. We'll go to about there, stop, and return to about there. That's what he did in the video. This section here, as I've said, is a bit wasted. Note the knee, note the back is straight, note the head, his head is also vertical here, and looking ahead. Right. Now he's at the top position. You can see now what's going to happen is if he carries on going there, he's actually going to relax this muscle. So it's not actually recommended now to actually go any further. As I've said, at this point, we could say stop. Then the weight goes back down to that point over there. And that's the motion. That's it. That's a barbell curl. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the breathing. Most people are not sure when to breathe. As you come up, you breathe out. As you go down, you breathe in. So when the weight goes up, you're breathing out. Breathe in and breathe out. Try to match your breathing to the movement. For example, there's no point breathing out all there and then you're done, because when the force of the air also helps you with getting the weight up. Why? Because you're building up pressure in your rib cage. Okay, so now just to recap, look at the 5-degree angle here. Look where his elbow is. A lot of guys in the gym, you'll see this elbow rocking. No need. This is that for me, when you see that elbow rocking, it means the weight is too heavy. You're actually just tensing, relaxing, tensing, relaxing. All right. Now, the last one here is just to highlight one more time that, sorry, it should be straight, but is that, and look at those knees providing the suspension. Stop there. That's the movement. Looking ahead, neck back, shoulders back, chest must be out, shoulders back, and that's it. That's the analysis. Now let's look at the boo-boos, the do not do's. Okay, right. This is throwing the weight. Chuck it up. This is wrong. Look at from the side angle. Show from the side. The reason why it's wrong. Look at the neck. Look at the neck. Look at the back. This is not correct. Look at the back. Keep your knees straight this time. Okay, yeah. Look here. These knees should be a little bit bent. Look at this rocking motion. Look at the neck. Look at the back. Look at the arms. Look how it's resting here. This is wrong. Shouldn't be resting here. Throw it right to your chin. Look at this here. This is a waist here. Gravity is helping him here. See? Once he gets to the top, gravity is continuing. Okay? Terrible, terrible form. You can see that. Look at that. You see guys in the gym doing this, they're going to get sore here. This is terrible form. Carry on. Okay, so let's analyze the errors that people make while they're doing the training. You've seen, I've already presented it with Michael, but now I'm going to analyze it using some geometry. Right, the first thing is, I don't know if you noticed, I said that your arm should actually be at about a 5-degree angle. Now look what's happened here while he's done the exercise. This is incorrect. And you see this arm is actually shifting up here. And the more it shifts up, the more you swing it, the more you're actually gaining momentum. Remember, think about a pendulum. The harder you swing it, the further it's going to want to come back. So what's actually happening here is he's not fully isolating this muscle because he's actually using a little bit of front deltoids. You can see their front deltoids. By shifting his arm upwards, and he's actually reducing the tension on the bicep muscle. Next problem, I don't know if you notice his shoulders are no longer back. Let's try and erase this quickly. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you notice his shoulders are no longer back. You see, what's happening now is it's almost like having a rounded back. And that's incorrect because what starts happening is your traps are now brought into play while you're swinging the arm. So the best way to solve this is actually to keep your arm in that position and only keep your bicep in that position. Only this part, think of this as a hinge, only that shifts up and down. When I say up and down, I mean, let's say it's the hinge is there and then only that thing goes up and down. This part here should not be doing that movement, as I've explained. All right, next thing. What is happening here? You can see this arm is actually increased even more because of the momentum. The momentum, he's actually using momentum to actually lift this weight. So now the question is, how much weight can you do? Well, with using momentum or not? Are you going to be swinging the weight up, or are you just going to be isolating the muscle? So you can see now what has happened here. Look at the distance between his elbow and his body. It's increased, and what actually happens is because the weight is actually moving further away from him, he's actually putting more pressure on his spine. Now look here, the swinging has continued. Look at this movement here of his chest and his back. You see his whole body is actually now, if you look at the vertical position, he's no longer vertical. Vertical would have been there. Sorry. Vertical would have been there. But now if you look what's happened, he's actually leaned forward. Not a lot, but he has leaned forward. And look at the neck. You see, as your body goes forward, look at that. The neck tends to go back. And you'll see this in the gym, this rocking of the neck. It's not good. All right, next problem. You can see what's happened here. Now, gravity is always pulling down, as I don't need to say over and over again. So tell me, what effective isolation are you doing when gravity is actually pulling down? So that means that once you are past this 90 degree, even if you're at 80, I would recommend stop at 80. But once you go from like 80, 90 and over 90, gravity is actually helping you do the weight, because you see what's happening is gravity is pulling down. It's actually going to pull him down. So as the weight goes past the 90, it actually falls by itself. So he's actually not doing the weight. His muscle is now in rest. Look at that. You can actually see the muscle is now in rest. He's actually resting now. So why go up all that way? It's not necessary. Another problem that we see in the gym. Okay, so I did recommend bending your knee slightly, but that is not a reason to bounce. At no point in time in this analysis did I say one should be bouncing. You know, we're not on a trampoline here. So if you see guys doing this format, okay, fine. Powerlifting, you're in the Olympics. That's different to bodybuilding. These guys, they've been doing this, powerlifters have been trained doing the power clean for years. They don't have the susceptibility as a novice bodybuilder who are now going to pick up a hernia here and injuries back here. You know, so that's what I'm trying to just say. If you want to train without injury, I'm not saying that you should never swing a weight because that's, you know, part of powerlifting. But what I'm saying is this is bodybuilding, and bodybuilding is different from powerlifting. Firstly, we want to grow muscle as much as possible. We want to isolate the actual muscle or muscle you're working with. Now, let me ask a question here to solve this problem. What is Michael training? Is he training quads? Is he training calves? Because by swinging the weight, he's now doing a little bit of calves. He's now doing a little bit of quads. He's also doing a bit of stomach, abs. He's also now doing lower back. And he's also doing a little bit of lats. So now all these muscle groups are now sharing this weight of whatever 30 kilos. So how much is his bicep actually doing? Now his biceps actually doing much less. So that makes it ineffective. If you want to become a very strong person, it's a different type of training. But in terms of bodybuilding and actually isolating this muscle properly, there's no point bringing into play all these muscles. You are now just sharing the load. Okay, now let's look at the correct form one more time. Knees slightly bent, take a bit of a seat, back straight, shoulders back, neck back, straight ahead, no throwing, a little bit forward, arms a little bit forward, right. Now go up, keep that there, there you go. There you go. So what we've got here is shoulders back, head forward, neck back, no rest point there, immediately carries on. Do not rest, and up. And up. And at the top, he stops over here. No chucking. 1, and up. 2, and up. 3. That's good. And lastly, the put down using slightly bent knees. Here we go.